So I'm reading Guy Evans' really good book about the history of WCW Nitro called Nitro. And I read this little passage about bringing in Bret Hart to WCW, where they were talking overtly about making him a member of the NWO, which to me seems logical that they would do that. I'm not saying it's necessarily a good idea, but the original implication of the NWO was that it was an invading WWE force. I know WCW would always not say that because they didn't want to get sued. That was the subtext. Let's talk about the Montreal Screwjob for just a second. Because I was really thinking, what would have happened exactly if the Screwjob never happened and Bret just went to the WCW? Because obviously, whatever ideas that they had originally for him had to be thrown out the window when that situation happened. The thing about that is, after the Montreal Screwjob, you couldn't really make Bret a heel. No, he had to be like a babyface, which created a problem. And I know Bret Hart, like everybody else, would join the NWO eventually, but he didn't initially. And the first part of his run was all about the Montreal Screwjob in a way, and recreating elements of it. I'm just wondering, was part of the reason why they couldn't figure out what to do with him is because their initial plans were screwed over when the Screwjob happened, and they just could never come up with anything? This is just me speculating here, and I don't have any inside knowledge, but I think Bret Hart was going to be a heel. I think he was going to be a part of the NWO, probably, and I think this was going to play on his heel persona. And when the Montreal Screwjob happened, they couldn't do that anymore, but they didn't have any other ideas. Or possibly they never had any ideas, they just wanted to get Bret Hart away because it would hurt Vince McMahon. I'd really recommend this book, by the way. It gives you a really good sense about why WCW was the way it was. Mainly the pressures of running a 3-hour live show every week was so intense, and it meant that they didn't have maybe as much time as they would have to plan things out. So I know it wasn't 3 hours all the time, but I don't remember exactly when that switch off happens, so I'm just not going to say it. Anyways, these aren't facts. This is just me cold, hard speculating things. But I do wonder if the Screwjob really did screw over their original plans, which probably weren't great ideas, but at least they were ideas.